Good morning, and welcome to your AI Daily Press morning podcast for August 8, 2025. Firstly, the situation in Gaza remains volatile, with gang clashes erupting in the region as Israel's Prime Minister, Netanyahu, suggests handing over governance of the territory to forces. The international community is watching closely, urging a peaceful resolution to the conflict. In Haiti, violence has marred the transfer of power within the transitional government, with gang leader Jimmy Cherizier threatening to disrupt the transition. The Kenya-led multinational security support mission has thwarted attacks plotted by gangs, but the situation remains unstable. And finally, a meeting between US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin is on the horizon, sparking hopes for a breakthrough in the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. However, experts caution that the gulf between Russia and Ukraine remains significant, and a lasting peace may still be a distant prospect. We'll continue to provide updates and analysis on these developing stories throughout the day. For now, that's all for this morning's podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the AI Daily Press. I'm Walter, and we'll see you again soon. And that's a wrap. Now for the latest in social and cultural news, here is Barbara Waters.
Thank you, Walter. Here's a brief summary of the top stories we're following. Firstly, in Sudan, the city of El Fasher is on the brink of starvation, with hundreds of thousands of displaced people trapped and in desperate need of aid. The humanitarian situation is catastrophic, with children making up half of those affected. In other news, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been engaging in diplomatic efforts to strengthen ties with major nations, including Brazil and China. Modi held talks with Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva and plans to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping, focusing on trade and regional security issues. Additionally, we're following the developments in Venezuela, where President Maduro has been sworn in for a third term amid protests and rising tensions with the international community. These stories and more will be explored in depth throughout the day. For now, our thoughts are with the people of El Fasher and all those affected by the crisis in Sudan. We urge world leaders to take immediate action to address this humanitarian emergency and work towards a peaceful resolution. That's all for now. Thank you for joining me on this morning's edition of the AI Daily Press. I'm Barbara, and we'll be back with more news after this break. Now, for the latest in business and finance, here's Louis Riskweiser.
Thank you, Barbara. I'm Louis, your host. Today, we're summarizing the key stories from our recent articles. First off, we've got some exciting news in the world of central banking. Federal Reserve Governor Christopher Waller has emerged as a front-runner to succeed Jerome Powell as the next chairman of the Fed. However, it's essential to note that this story is still unfolding, and nothing is certain until it's official. Moving on to earnings season, several major companies have reported their quarterly performances. Intuitive Machines impressed with significant growth and momentum, while Yeti Holdings demonstrated its ability to navigate challenging market conditions with solid earnings. Holdings Corporation reported impressive growth in the financial sector, driven by increased demand for mortgage products and services. And after a tough period, Hertz Global Holdings is showing signs of improvement, with efforts to revamp operations and enhance customer experience paying off. We also took a closer look at some other notable developments, including Kalyan Jewelers' expansion plans, Hindustan Petroleum Corporation's profit growth, and Oppenheimer Fund's sale of Kotak Mahindra Bank shares. These stories reflect the dynamic nature of the financial sector, with companies adapting to changing circumstances and investors responding to new opportunities and challenges. That's a quick summary of our top stories for today. As always, we recommend a cautious and informed approach to investment decisions, taking into account the unique factors influencing each company and sector. Now for the latest in science and technology, here is Carl Storman.
Thank you, Louis. Firstly, NASA has announced plans to establish a nuclear-powered facility on the lunar surface, marking a significant milestone in space exploration. This ambitious project aims to provide a reliable and sustainable source of energy for future missions, enabling humanity to take a giant leap towards establishing a permanent presence on the Moon and beyond. Secondly, a team of astronomers has identified the earliest known black hole in the universe, dating back to a mere 700 million years after the Big Bang. This extraordinary find challenges our current understanding of black hole formation and evolution, suggesting that black holes can grow much faster than we previously thought. Lastly, a separate team of scientists has proposed a highly theoretical plan to send a mission to a black hole, sparking debate and discussion within the scientific community. While this idea is still in its infancy, it highlights the growing interest in exploring these enigmatic regions of space. These developments remind us of the awe-inspiring complexity and beauty of the cosmos, and we're excited to see where they'll take us. Now, for the latest in sports, here is Howard Closewell.
Thank you, Carl. Firstly, we're taking a look at the most dominant wide receiver duos in the NFL. From the Cowboys' Lamb and Pickens to the Colts' potentially explosive combination, these pairs are set to electrify the league this season. We'll be keeping a close eye on their progress as the season unfolds. In other news, Indianapolis Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson suffered a concerning finger injury during last night's preseason opener against the Baltimore Ravens. This latest setback has significant implications for the Colts' quarterback competition, and we'll be monitoring Richardson's recovery closely. And in a shocking turn of events, Arch Manning, the talented young quarterback, will not be entering the 25 NFL draft. According to his grandfather, Archie Manning, Arch will remain at the University of Texas for at least another year, putting to rest speculation about his potential early entry into the professional league. This decision is expected to have a significant impact on the draft landscape, with other top quarterback prospects like LSU's Garrett and Nuissmeier seeing their stock rise in response. That's all for now. We'll continue to bring you updates and analysis on these developing stories as more information becomes available. Thank you for joining us on the AI Daily Press Morning Podcast. I'm Howard, and we'll see you tomorrow. Now, for the latest in travel and human interest, here is Charles Currell.
Thank you, Howard. First, we took a heartwarming look at a community coming together in London, where a local campaign saved a beloved tree from being cut down. The story highlights the power of community activism and the importance of preserving our natural environment. Next, we dove into the vibrant music scene in Australia, where three talented artists, Chitra, Brazen Barbie, and Jamaica Moana, are making waves with their unique sounds and styles. Their commitment to staying true to themselves and their art is inspiring a new generation of music lovers. Finally, our thoughts are with the people of Kenya, who have been affected by two devastating incidents: a light aircraft crash in Nairobi that killed 6 people, and a train and bus collision in central Kenya that claimed at least 4 lives. We're following these stories closely and will provide updates as more information becomes available. That's all for today's summary. Thank you for tuning in to the AI Daily Press Morning Podcast. We'll be back with more in-depth coverage of these stories and others throughout the day. Now, for the latest in fashion and entertainment, here is Joan Streams.
Thank you, Charles. First up, Eminem is still killing it in the UK. 3 of his biggest hits, Without Me, Lose Yourself, and Love the Way You Lie, are back on the charts, proving that his legacy is still going strong. Next, The Weeknd is still reigning supreme, with not 1, not 2, but 6 songs climbing up the Billboard global charts. And the best part? Most of them are years old. I mean, who can resist Blinding Lights and Save Your Tears? Not me, that's for sure. And finally, we've got a story well, actually it's more like a confirmation. The Weeknd is still the king of music. His back catalog is doing all the heavy lifting, keeping him on top of the weekly rankings worldwide. I mean, the man's got talent and staying power for days. So there you have it, folks. Eminem's still got it, The Weeknd still got it, and we're all just along for the ride. Oh, grow up. You know you're still listening to Blinding Lights on repeat. Don't it me? That's all for today, folks. Thanks for tuning in to the AI Daily Press Morning Podcast. Stay fabulous, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Now, for the latest in nature and environment, here's David Atinature.
Thank you, Joan. Firstly, a shocking discovery in the southern Indian Ocean reveals that glacier loss on Heard Island has nearly doubled over the past 7 decades, from 0.4 square kilometers to 1.1 square kilometers annually. This alarming trend is not only a consequence of climate change, but also a stark reminder of its far-reaching impacts on our planet's ecosystems. In other news, the recent conservation efforts to restore lake sturgeon populations have shown promising results, demonstrating the positive impact humans can have on the environment. The sturgeon moon, which occurred recently, serves as a remarkable example of the interconnectedness of our natural systems and the importance of preserving our ecosystems for future generations. Lastly, in a disturbing trend, schools in several countries are serving food contaminated with high levels of toxic chemicals, including pesticides and heavy metals. This has severe implications for children's health and highlights the need for stricter regulations on food safety. These stories underscore the critical importance of environmental stewardship and the need for collective action to mitigate the effects of climate change. We'll be exploring these topics in more depth throughout the week, and that completes our morning podcast for today. Thank you for listening. Until this evening, I'm David Atinature for AI Daily Press, the world's most unbiased news source.